Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kids TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. Saturday afternoon, approximately it's 2:01 p.m. And I was talking to a couple guys, as I frequently do, pause, younger guys, and I was telling them that the street life is not everything that it appears to be, everything that it's cracked up to be. Oh, gee, you don't understand, man. I do understand. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was young at one point, so I definitely do understand. But at the same time, I'm going to listen to you, see exactly what's on your mind, try to listen to your perspective. Now, while I definitely don't agree, I'm still going to give you an opportunity to explain to me why you do what you do. So after I listen to them diligently, I shared a story with them that I'll share with you all. Street life is a dirty, dirty game. When you out there in them streets, man, there's really no rules to the streets. That's why snitching is heavily frowned upon, if you will. Because you out there in the streets, you don't call the police. No, you handle court in the streets. That's just the street life, ways or what have you. Now, I'm a civilian. I don't deal with the street life at this point. But when you out there in them streets, that's just, that's how you handle things. Good friend of mine, several years ago, was coming home from the club. He's out partying, finger popping, doing his thing or whatever. He having a good time. He's coming home from the club. Now, let me explain this to you. He didn't live here in Kentucky, but he was kind of back and forth. He came to Kentucky to handle his business. He'd stay for a few days. Then he'd go back to, actually, he was from Virginia. He would go back to Virginia where, that's where he pretty much lived at. His brother lived here in Kentucky. He had his girlfriend lived here in Kentucky. So he frequented Kentucky often. See what I'm saying? So as I mentioned, he was at the club one night. He's having fun. He's drinking. He's, just having a good time. Real low-key guy. A lot of people didn't know him. They didn't know his business. They didn't really know, really anything about him or much about him. So he thought. He was coming home from the club, maybe about 2 o'clock in the morning. And one thing about him, he was very aware of his surroundings. He always watched to make sure, no one was following him. Even when he would drive home, he may take a couple different routes, a couple different turns, just to make sure that no one was, on his tail, following him. Once again, pause. So this particular morning, it's about 2:15, somewhere right around there by the time he actually makes it home. He's looking in his mirrors, his rear views. He doesn't see anyone following him. So he feels as though everything is safe. He pulls up to his house, or to the house that he was staying in when he came into town, which was his brother's house. His real brother. Oftentimes people say, oh, that's my brother. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like, this was actually his blood brother. Pulls up to the house, pulls in the driveway, looks around again, opens the garage door. As he's entering through the garage door, 3 guys just jump out. He didn't even see them. They were hiding in the bushes, literally hiding in the bushes. They jump out, they grab him, rough him up a little bit, push him inside of the garage. Once they push him inside of the garage, they shut the garage door. Now, when you're inside of the garage, obviously, there's a door that, allows you to enter into the home. They go into the door. He's in the living room at this point. They put him in a chair. They tie him up. 3 individuals, 2:15, 2:30 in the morning, somewhere right around in that range. You don't know who these guys are. After all, you're not even from here. You don't have a clue who these individuals are. But evidently they know who you are, because not only do they know where you live at, they've grabbed you, essentially taking you hostage by tying you up. And he's sitting there in the living room. Obviously, it's a whole lot of commotion going on. Where's it at? Where's it at? Get it out. 2 of the guys have shotguns, and another guy has just a regular, handgun, a pistol. He's telling them, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Slapped him around a couple times with the pistol, as his hands are tied up behind his back. This has to be a frightening situation. It seems as though this would be something that you would see in a movie. So, with all the commotion that's going on, they're yelling back and forth. He's telling them that he doesn't have anything. The brother that owned the home wasn't there. So evidently, the intruders, they knew that the brother wasn't at home. So what does that tell you? Someone had given some inside information as far as him, his brother, what he had in the house, supposedly. They just knew too much. So as they're in a sense, they're interrogating him. Where's it at? They want the drugs, they want the money. He was heavy in the dope game. As I said, he would come down from Virginia, stay a few days, handle his business, make X amount of dollars, then he'd go back. Then you might not see him again for another month, another few weeks. So this was his regular routine, if you will. Out of the blue, someone comes to the, there was an upstairs. So you know how there's an upstairs and there's a rail and you can kind of look over the rail downstairs? Someone comes to the rail and was like, what's going on? It was his girlfriend. She was in the house. One of the guys runs upstairs after the girlfriend. She runs into the room, shuts the door, locks the door, boom, kicks the door in. When he kicks the door in, not only was the girlfriend in the room, his young son was in the room. So now you have 2 of the intruders downstairs, and then you have one that's upstairs with the girlfriend and with his young son. At the time his son was, I want to say, 5 years old. He's hearing everything that's, taking place. My dude, we're just going to call him, I don't want to use his real name. We're going to call him, I don't know. What's a good name to call him? Because I don't want to. We're going to call him Lamont. Totally made up name. True story, but totally made up name. We're going to call him Lamont. Lamont's like, okay, man. Hold on, man. Just, don't hurt my girl. Don't hurt my son. Just like you was seeing in the movie. The dudes are growing impatient because they've asked him several times, where's it at? They done pistol whipped him a couple times. They done beat him up or whatever. Okay, I got you. He tells them a location. They go in, they find 3 or 4 pounds of weed. Nah, this ain't what we came for. We know you got more than this. It's all I got, man. I'm telling you, where the money at? Where the work at? Man, I don't know what y'all talking about. Okay. They untie him from the chair, put him face down on the ground. pull his pants down. Now, all the while they're doing this, there was an iron. They hooked the iron up, plugged the iron up rather, allow it to get steaming hot. He's laying on the ground. His kid and his girl's upstairs. They're frantic, as one would be. He's frantic. He's worried. As I mentioned, they pull his pants down. Once the iron got steaming hot, we're going to ask you one more time, where's it at? Man, I'm telling you, I don't know. Bzzz. That's the sound that he was telling me that it made. Bzzz. Put a steaming hot iron on his butt. On his butt. Burned his butt. He's screaming uncontrollably. Where's it at? He still don't tell him. They do it again. They burn him on his other side. Bzzz. Okay. You a tough guy, huh? You a tough guy, okay. Well, we're going to see if you know where it's at. Grab his son. Actually, he sends instruction upstairs to the individual that's upstairs with the girl and the son. Get his son. See, the guys downstairs, no one knew that it was anyone else in the house. But, the guy that was upstairs, one of the intruders, it's a little boy up here, and his girl, well, obviously they seen the girl, it's a little boy up here, get the little boy. That ain't what they said, but it, lack of better terms, we're going to get the little boy. They grabbed the little boy, acted as though they were going to toss him over the top of the, over the rail. Okay, hold on. No, that's my son, man. That's my son. You got one more time. Where's it at? Okay. All this time, he was holding out. He tells him to go into the garage. And there's a certain area in which he has some work, drugs. And there was a small amount of cash. I want to say he told me it was like $7,500. These guys, they weren't going for that. Now, when I say a small amount of work, it was like, I don't know, I think it was like 1.5 kilos that he was telling me. Now, let me say this. He's already been, this case was several years ago. So at the end of the story, I'll explain everything to you. So it's not like I'm getting on here talking about something that isn't already known. They found like 1.5 kilos, $7,500. They found a couple more pounds of weed. But for whatever reason, these guys, that's not enough. We know that you have more. They take him, put him back in the chair, tie him up again. Where's it at? Man, I'm telling you, I don't know. The guy takes the shotgun, the back of the end of the shotgun, boom, hits him in the face, cuts his eye wide open. Blood is everywhere. Like blood is literally just pouring out of his face. I'm going to tell you one more time, man. If you don't give us what we want, everybody in here is going to die. They reach back to assault him with the shotgun once again. Boom! The shotgun goes off. Loud noise. Extremely loud. Shotgun in the house. 2:30 in the morning. At this point, they had been there for a while. Pretty much just torturing this guy. Shotgun goes off. Goes through the roof. Through the ceiling, rather. It's so loud, the guys feel like, man, we got to get out of here, man. Come on, man. Forget, man. Let's go. So one of the guys, nah, man, we got to get the money. The lead, nah, man, let's go. Common sense would tell you, if a shot goes off that early in the morning, that late at night, early in the morning, however you want to put it, several neighbors is going to hear what's going on. They leave out. He doesn't even see a car when he first initially pulls up. So apparently they must have been parked down the street, because they definitely weren't parked anywhere near his house. They leave out. He's sitting there bloody. The girl's upstairs. She's crying. Fortunately, the baby, he's okay. They come downstairs. They immediately call 911, get the ambulance there, the police, and what have you. So they come out. They take my guy to the hospital, treat him for his wounds, because he was bleeding an awful lot. They busted him up, hit him a few times with the pistol, as well as the shotgun, the end of the shotgun or what have you. And he had 2 burn marks on his butt. Severe burn marks. So he's laying up in the hospital. They admit him. Well, the police go back to the crime scene. They go back to the crime scene. They feel as though they have probable cause to go inside and search the scene. See, they're not supposed to just go inside. They go inside, and I don't remember exactly what he said as far as what gave them probable cause, but they got to searching the area. Police, they've been doing this for a long time. Detectives, they've been doing this for a long time. They knew that this was probably a, drug-related incident. They get to searching. They're searching the garage. Actually, I'm going to tell you. They see a money machine, a money counter, and they see some scales. When they seen that, that's allegedly, that's what they said that they seen. Oftentimes policemen, they're going to say anything just to, do what they really want to do. So they said that they seen these things, and it gave them probable cause to actually search, canvass the area. They begin to search the house, upstairs, downstairs. They search the garage. Lo and behold, look what we found here. A box. 60,000 cash, 3 kilos. Cocaine in the box. Come back to the hospital. They're interrogating him, questioning the girl. No one's saying anything. When it's all said and done, he ends up getting charged with those 3 kilos of cocaine that they found and the $60,000. Even though it wasn't his home, he ended up getting charged with that. So we later spoke on the situation. Months later, we talked about it. And I was like, dude, how could you not just give it up with your kid and your girl in the house like that? He said, bro, I didn't even know that it was in there. Everything that I knew that was in there, that was mine personally, this is what he was saying, that was mine personally, I told him where it was at. This was my brother's action. I didn't even know that this was even there. Police, obviously, they seize the drugs. They take the money. Intruders are long gone. This was back before they had Ring doorbells and things like that. So those guys were gone. He didn't have a clue who they were. For one, as I mentioned, he's not from here. For two, they all had on masks. How could he possibly have a clue who these guys were? He didn't really affiliate with many people down here, but it was one person. There was one person that kind of knew his business, and it wasn't his girl. It was his girl's best friend. His girl's best friend knew too much information, and the reason that she knew all that information is because his girl evidently was telling her things that she shouldn't have known. How did they know that his brother wasn't there? How did they know what he had in the house? If you're not from here and you don't really deal with too many people here, and you don't really, how does anyone know all of this information? So now he's kind of like, wait, looking at his girl. But he's like, nah, I know she wouldn't do that. Why would she do that? I mean, the kids in the house, why would she? Come to find out, it all came back on the girl's best friend. She set the entire thing up. Had him set all the way up. He catches the case. Police, they end up charging him. Next thing you know, the feds come in. They pick the case up. See, the feds have jurisdiction, so if it's a state case and it's a pretty solid case and it's a significant amount, the feds at any given point can say, hold on, we got it from here. And the feds come in and pick the case up. A lot of people say, oh, the feds can't do this, the feds can't do that. Man, the feds are the feds. The federal government, they can do whatever they want to do. Majority of the time, they come in and pick the case up. And it was his first time. He had never had a felony or whatever. So he ended up getting like 8 years in the feds. So not only was he messed up, scarred physically, he ended up getting 8 years in the feds. So he didn't get a bond. Typically, you don't get a bond with the feds. Typically, you got to do 85% of your time. He don't know who to trust. They've taken all the work, all his money, everything just went away just like that. Seized his car. Anything that was in his name, they seized, took. And that's just an example of when you out here living this street life, things like this take place on a regular. It's always somebody watching you. It's always somebody lurking. It's always somebody that's, they starving out here. So they see you balling. They see you, even if you remain low key like my partner, like Lamont. He was a low key guy. He wasn't flashy. He wore his little polo and his Jordans and stuff like that. But he wasn't, he didn't wear a whole lot of jewelry. It didn't matter. It didn't matter whatsoever, because by his girl's best friend alerting these guys what he had and where he was at, where he resided, they wanted in. And they came in and took what they wanted. He's very, very fortunate that he didn't lose his life, and he's fortunate that they didn't kill the girl along with his son. And it possibly could have happened if that shotgun didn't inadvertently go off. At this point, it was probably 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, close to 3 a.m. That was the thing that genuinely saved Lamont, in my opinion. And he feels the same as well. So when you're out here in this, living this street life, and you think that money that you making is going to last forever, you have another thing coming. Because typically what happens once they catch you, what happened to Lamont? If the intruders got a lot of it, and the additional amount that the intruders didn't get, guess what? The police came in and took it. So even if you do got a little money left, you got $10,000, $15,000 left, that ain't no money. A lawyer's, plus a Fed case, a lawyer's going to want $10,000, $15,000. Yeah, they assign you lawyers in the feds, but his case didn't start off as a federal case. It started off in a state. So I'm already paying my attorney, 10 G's just to take my case. Oh, but now they don't went federal? Oh, well, I need another 10. I need another 15. You facing this amount of time. See, attorneys play games with you just as well. You facing a life sentence. So I'm going to need this amount of money. And you're going to figure out a way to get it if possible. So you're paying attorney fees. You're paying commissary. You're calling home on the phone. All of that stuff takes away from what you have. So at the end of the day, typically, you come home with nothing. And then when you come home with nothing, you definitely can't deal with that. You sitting around looking at all the people that, you always had more than. And they've come up, they have this and they have that, and you're just sitting around with nothing. With a little job making, $13 an hour washing dishes somewhere, or, serving food or whatever you're doing, working at a factory, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you're wanting to keep up with the Joneses. But you've been gone for, 5.5, 6 years. So they done came up over all of these years, and this is like, nah, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. You got 4 or 5 kids. I got to get back in it. But I'm going to just get back. I'm going to keep my job. I'm going to get back in it, just enough to do this and that or whatever. Make a couple sales a week. I'm going to just deal with a couple people, and that's it. Next thing you know, you knee deep in the game again. You all the way back. As though you never left. So please understand that this street life is 2 roads. I know everybody's heard it's 2 roads, man. Prison or the graveyard. That's where it's going to end you at. That whole, you make $1 million and then you take your money and put it into a business, and like Jay-Z talks about. Does it ever happen? Yes, but does it happen often? No. It just doesn't happen that way. It's not the movies. It's not TV. It's not a TV series. You see what I'm saying? This is real life that you're dealing with. You only get one life. Take your life. Do something with yourself. School. Get your trade. Get you a job, a career job. Stay on that job. Do something with your life. Because going to penitentiary, everybody's going to leave you. Your baby's mama, your baby's mamas, they're going to leave you. Your family, your mom, your pops, your grandmother, your granddaddy, brothers, they're going to die off. You're in there long enough. You're going to find yourself all alone by yourself, man. Stay off these streets, youngsters. It's a true story. Every story that I tell is true. Think about that. It's always somebody watching you. When you're out there shining, it's always somebody watching you. Don't be like Lamont and come home 2:30 in the morning tipsy and find yourself in that chair with that hot iron on your butt. Pause. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive.